See that we have a position in Alibaba, and it's an incredible business. There's a lot to me to like, even more than the large US tech. If you look at Baba and Tencent and kind of where they're at, and the ecosystem and the moat and what they control. And
legendary value investor Manish Pabrai has recently sold majority of his Alibaba stake. Now this is a real shocker, as from the previous video you just saw, Manish was a major bull on Alibaba. So why has he been selling Alibaba stock? Well, in this video I'm going to reveal 5 reasons why he could have sold Alibaba stock. Now these are reasoned through quite carefully, and these are very valid reasons of why Manish could have sold Alibaba stock, considering he is a long-term investor and he likes to invest into long-term compounding stocks. It is very strange for him to have been selling this stock. Now, if we hop right in here to Manish Pabrai's portfolio, we're on investwithlegends.com. So this is a website which I'm actually part owner of right now. It's a fantastic website for tracking all the portfolios of all these legendary investors, Manish Pabrai, Warren Buffett, and many, many more. So for those that don't know, Manish Pabrai, he's a legendary value investor. He's famous for his lunch, which he had with Warren Buffett. He has a portfolio of around $270 million, so he's more of a smaller fish when it comes to the legendary investors, and that's why he's a great guy to follow, because he's very, very relatable, and also he's an incredible storyteller. So if we hop into his portfolio here, this is just a brief overview. I'm not going to do a full portfolio deep dive in this video, but I want to point out to you 2 stocks here. Well, 2 trades, shall I say. So Q2 2021, Manish Pabrai purchased Alibaba stock, and I did cover this at the time, $237 per share. Now, of course, many issues in China. There's a lot of talk about tech regulation in China. So, of course, all the Chinese stocks crashed down heavily, and I did do previous videos on this. So, down minus 29%. However, for somebody like Manish Pabrai, this is no issue. He's a true value investor. If anything, he would be buying more at these levels. But instead, he's recently sold out 77.8% of his shares, so majority of the position. And the real question is why? The fundamentals of Alibaba haven't changed, and it seems very strange that Manish Pabrai would have sold out. So I'm going to dive into these 5 reasons why he could have sold out. But if you do want to check out this Invest with Legends website, also guys, I will leave a link in the description below for you guys if you wish to sign up. It's an incredible website. You can click and follow all these different legendary investors. But with that being said, let's dive in. Okay, so reason number 1 why Manish Pabrai could have sold his Alibaba stock is he sold the US version of the stock with the ticker symbol BABA, and he's repurchased the stock, or he's going to repurchase the stock on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange with the ticker symbol 9988. That's on the Hong Kong Exchange. Now, there could be a few reasons for this. So there's recently been a bill which has been passed in Congress, which basically gives Chinese companies 2 years to get their accounts together to meet US accounting standards. And if they don't do this, then they could be kicked off the New York Stock Exchange. And the real issue with that is these Chinese companies will only then be able to be purchased via what's called the over-the-counter exchange, the OTC. And this means they'll have less liquidity. It's less easy to buy and sell the stocks if they're on the OTC exchange. There's a lot of penny stocks on that exchange. And also it means most likely they'll be trading at a deep, deep discount. So to avoid any issues with that, Manish Pabrai could have invested into Alibaba directly in Hong Kong. Now, reason number 2 why Manish Pabrai could have sold his Alibaba stock is he has concerns about the Chinese Communist government. Now, this is always a major issue which is hanging over any investment into China. The government is, of course, a communist government, a very controlling government compared to many governments in the West. And recently they've been doing a big crackdown on tech in China. So they actually suspended the IPO of Ant Financial, of which the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, that's his baby, that's his real business, which was previously a part of Alibaba. And then Jack Ma even went missing for a period of time after he had a major issue with the Chinese government. So it's clear relations between Alibaba, Jack Ma, and the Chinese Communist government is not fantastic. So that could be a reason why Manish has decided to sell. But personally, he spoke many times that he thinks a lot of this is noise. So maybe that is not a real valid reason, but we'll see. There's a few more reasons I'm going to get into in this video, guys. The third reason why Manish could have sold his Alibaba stake is due to the setup of these Chinese companies, especially Alibaba. So when you purchase Alibaba stock via the New York Stock Exchange, you're actually investing into what's called an ADR. So this is an American Depository Receipt, and I've done previous videos on this. So basically, you're investing into a shell company, because I believe it's actually illegal for these Chinese companies to actually list on foreign exchanges such as Alibaba. So the way they get around this, they actually have a shell company in the Cayman Islands, which Alibaba does. And then basically, as investors into that company from the West, you're invested into the shell company. And then the shell company has a contract with the mainland company in China, in which it's entitled to the company's profits. But it really is a little bit of a issue. You're not directly invested into the company. So that is a risk with many of these Chinese stocks, especially if you're investing into them from a foreign exchange. Now, the fourth reason of why Manish Pabrai could have sold his Alibaba stock is what's called a wash sale. So basically, Manish Pabrai could be using the decline in Alibaba's stock price to actually offset some tax as losses. So basically, if I hop back into Invest with Legends here and we go down to Alibaba stock, so he purchased the stock for a buy price of $237 per share in Q2 2021. Now, the stock's currently trading around $168 per share. So it's down by minus 29%. So that minus 29% can be offset as a tax loss, basically. So if I basically give you a quick example, if you had 1,000 shares of Alibaba purchased at Manish Pabrai's buy price, and that's a $68 difference, you times that by 1,000, that could be a $68,000 tax cover, which you could have by doing this. Now, this is not a recommendation, guys, to go in offset any taxes by selling your stocks which are at a loss. Please seek independent tax advice. I'm not a tax advisor, so please seek independent tax advice if you do want more details on the legality of this, because I believe it is legal in most countries as long as you're not immediately doing it before you need to submit your taxes and then buying the stock back straight after. I believe there does have to be quite a bit of a period between you actually selling the stock and rebuying it back again. So these are a few different reasons why Manish could have sold Alibaba stock, but personally, I think it's this last reason, because all these other reasons, they're issues which affect a lot of different stocks, and he's never mentioned these issues before. But this last reason, I think this could be a real reason why he sold Alibaba stock. So reason number 5 is Manish Pabrai could be buying Tencent stock. Now, he's previously spoken extremely highly of Tencent stock, and I covered Tencent stock on this channel many, many times. So if I go back here, guys, I covered Tencent 3 months ago on this channel. Should you buy? Full disclosure, I did buy myself. I also did a valuation of Tencent, and I dived into the valuation. I did say that Tencent is undervalued right now. Now, this is not a recommendation to go and buy it, but it's very interesting that Manish Pabrai has recently spoke extremely highly of Tencent. So I'm going to play you a little bit of a brief clip of that.
I would bet that given the superiority of the Tencent model, look 10 years or 15 years from now, that it's the most valuable business on the planet. And to a large extent, I feel that they may even be able to transcend a bunch of stuff that the CCP is throwing at them and continues to throw at them. Model number 1, bazooka number 1, earns 65% annualized return on capital invested, okay, day in and day out. Any billion he puts in historically has made 65% a year. Model number 2 makes 35% a year. What a terrible business. I told you there were only 2 large companies that knew how to do this with using all the cash. What Tencent does actually runs circles around Amazon.
So basically, Manish Pabrai talks about Tencent being the ultimate business and basically states that Tencent's business model runs rings around Amazon because they don't have to hire all these warehouse workers. And what they do is they have two bazookas for the business. So bazooka number one is this army of software engineers, which churns out historically around 65% returns on investment, I believe, return on capital, which is incredible. And then they also have business number two, which is this army of digital Warren Buffetts, which basically go and invest in all these different businesses for Tencent. Now, I did cover this previously in the Discord group. So this is the private Discord group, guys. There's a link in the first link below if you want to check this out. But I previously covered a lot of Tencent's investments here. So as you can see here, guys, Tencent is a 5% owner of Tesla, which is now $1 trillion market cap company. They own 12% of Snapchat. They own 18% of JD.com, 35% of Sea Limited, 17% of Pinduoduo, PDD, which is a fantastic Chinese e-commerce growth stock. So that's Tencent's digital Warren Buffett's doing what they do best. So if we hop back into Investor of Legends here, we can see, of course, Manish Pabrai bought Alibaba stock, sold Alibaba stock. But if he has purchased Tencent on the Hong Kong exchange, which I'll get the ticker for you guys, on the Hong Kong exchange, the ticker is 0700. Of course, double check just to check everything's okay. But yeah, the Hong Kong ticket is 0700. If he's repurchased it back on the Hong Kong exchange, he won't have to disclose that in his SEC filing in the US. But I'm in a deep partnership with this Investor of Legends website. It's basically majority of my website now, to be honest. And I'll actually be able to try and locate a lot of this Hong Kong data from other sources. Hopefully, I'll try to do this for you guys watching, and I'll try and compile that on this website. So if you do want to check this out, guys, investoroflegends.com. I will link to it in the description below. And yeah, track these investors, track these legendary investors, track the smart money, these hedge funds, these investors, know exactly what they're buying, what they're selling. And yeah, and see when they do crazy moves like this, like we saw recently with Alibaba and Manish Pabrai. So that's today's video, guys. If you haven't subscribed and you do like these tips, feel free by hitting that subscribe button, turning that notification bell on. If you did find value, big thumbs up, helps out tremendously with the channel. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an incredible day, and I'll see you in my next video. Invest safe.